Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Shift Break from Keys to the Shop. My name is Chris DeFirio, and I hope you're having an amazing week this week. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about curbing their enthusiasm, something I've been mulling over the past week. I wanted to share with you. I think it's going to be helpful. In the industry, we are so familiar with the terminology, the culture, the science, the data, all that stuff. It's old hat to us. We're like fish in water. We don't know we're wet. And because of that, the newness of the idea that coffee from various countries have different flavors, or that latte art exists, or that espresso has less caffeine than a mug of coffee, these are things that have worn off long ago, and it's now just base level knowledge, not something that we don't talk in forums about these things because we are professionals and we already know that. So there are things that we first were enamored with when we went into coffee shops: the music, the smells, the flavors, special drinks that people made. They all seemed foreign to us, like a mocha. Ooh, what's that? There was a time where you didn't know what a mocha was, and I didn't know what a vanilla latte was, or an Americano. It's all a new world that we had to take little steps to discover. And we were excited each time we visited a coffee shop because we were just figuring out this new world. And the people in that coffee shop were our guides to that new world. And for some of us, those guides were good, and others, they were not. And I'm going to make the argument here that those who are not the greatest guides really did a disservice to the specialty coffee community. And we have the potential, and oftentimes play the part of those kind of lousy guides to the specialty coffee industry because of our jadedness to the basic fundamentals of specialty coffee that actually enamor and excite the customers that come into our coffee shops. And so that's basically what I want to talk about, is that I think we, and I'm including myself in that, we lapse into this these moments of being speed bumps to people's excitement and their experience, rather than accelerators of it. We curb their enthusiasm. We are jaded, and we are also a bit salty at times. It's hard to get excited about the basics that once were just, whoa, what is that drink? Little things perplexed us about the menu, and to have those questions and those discoveries be met by the person at the other end of the cash register with a flat or dampened response, like a muted sort of response to our enthusiasm about this new world. And that is definitely one of the unseen things inhibiting specialty coffee from being as successful as it could be. Again, the retail coffee shop is the last link in the chain, and there are thousands of little things that contribute to the ruining of the specialty coffee experience, and this is one of them. And customers need validation, and they need affirmation, and customers are confused oftentimes by the ABCs of our trade, and we don't want to be the ones heaping scorn on them for not knowing. How dare you not know things about coffee that I know, is essentially what we say to people, but in not so many words. So here's an illustration that I think is helpful, or at least to me it makes sense because it's a personal illustration. I've got a 5-year-old son, and I've learned some skills in being a dad over these 5 years. My son often, and I say often, I mean well above 20 times a day, will show me something with such enthusiasm that he's discovered that is, to me, almost non-existent on the scale of things I should care about. He'll oftentimes come into the office where maybe often working on a podcast, right? And I will have to go to the living room at the other end of the house to see this discovery. And he just, sometimes he'll even have me close my eyes and then open them. And I'll look down, and what I see is him with one of his Matchbox cars, of which he has probably hundreds. It's going down the counter sideways. And he might not even tell me what it is I'm supposed to be seeing. And I'll have to guess, it's going down the counter sideways. Yeah. That's what he'll say back to me. He'll say, yeah, it is. And so here's this car, it's going down the counter sideways, and what am I supposed to do in this situation? To me, in the grand scheme of, global issues and our own household finances and my deadlines for projects and everything else, this doesn't register on things I need to care about right now as an adult. But to him, it is the world. In that moment, it is the world. And my job is to match and affirm his enthusiasm for this seemingly small thing. And my job is that because I am his guide into the world. I've been here for 40 years. I had my time where I discovered new things about my toys and the physical world around me that I was really enthusiastic about. And if an adult who knows the world is able to affirm that, yes, there are great and wonderful things in this world, and what you've just discovered is that you can turn your car sideways, I want to affirm that you should be excited about that. That's really cool. Keep discovering things. That's what I want to communicate to him. And so I see the benefit of matching and affirming his enthusiasm as being threefold. So first, like I said, I can help him view the world in a generous and positive way, and I become his guide to that world. And that's great. And that happens a lot. In fact, actually, he declared to no one in particular, after he showed me something, he walked away and said, "I love showing new things to Daddy." And it just melted my heart because it showed me that those efforts that I've made to match and affirm his enthusiasm are actually paying off. And I want him to always, always show me things that he discovers that are new to him, not necessarily new to me. And eventually, one day, they will be new to me. And I will be glad for the foundation that I've been able to help lay with him of curiosity and affirming that curiosity. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I learned patience as an adult, and I set the understanding for him that curiosity and discovery is not something to be feared, because the fear is part of the reason why people don't ask questions in coffee shops. They don't want to be, they don't want to seem silly. They don't want to seem ignorant of something. I would never say to my son, "How dare you not know this thing about the world?" Because he doesn't know. He's new to that world. And in the same way, people are new to the world of specialty coffee. They should not be scorned for not knowing or asking a question that sounds kind of strange to our ears. The last benefit, I think, is that it rekindles my ability to connect with the small joys of the world as I see my son connect with the small joys, right? I have way more genuine excitement for those little things now, after a few years of training myself to look for opportunities to affirm his enthusiasm and welcome his questions and patiently explain to him things. I am connecting more with the basics of the world and the joys that it brings. We in coffee can get the same benefit. The things that really I loved about coffee shops and about coffee itself are things that I haven't really thought about that much in the 19 years I've been in coffee, until I started to really go back and ask the question, what is it that I am excited about in coffee? What first drew me into coffee? That's why I ask the question so many times in these interviews on Keys to the Shop. Those beginning sparks of joy, to quote Marie Kondo, are the essence of what the industry is all about for us and our customers. We get to see our customers go through it in real time, and we need to be guides to them, work alongside of them, and nurture that enthusiasm, help them grow into this world of specialty coffee that we call home. So I think that's my encouragement to us today. Let's view each interaction that we have with customers as an opportunity to be their guide to this world of specialty coffee, to match and affirm their enthusiasm, to view their questions as an opportunity to encourage curiosity instead of dissuade it, even though we're tired, even though the question might be one we get often. There's always room for us to be more patient and more generous with how we advocate for specialty coffee and the customer experience when we go into work. Let's not let their excitement fall on deaf ears. Let's come alongside them and go on that journey again. And in the process of guiding and affirming their joy and excitement and discoveries, we will find that we get some of those same benefits for ourselves. So I hope that this was helpful for you today, just something that's been rolling around in my head a little bit. And I will see you here next week for another edition of Shift Break from Keys to the Shop.